welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep. Alright, you guys know how much I love Demon Slayer. Those of you that subbed years ago would know that I thought this show was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. The music slapped, the drip slapped of the characters, like god damn, look how good they look, I want to dress like that in real life, I'm just saying. The art slapped, the message slapped, the animation slapped, top tier shit that was freaking industry standard, bruh.
So true.
And last but not least, the characters slapped. However, then came Muzan.
Little baby man, little baby man, little baby man.
In our opinion, Muzan made the ending fall flat, and I remember back then I received death threats on Twitter just for being honest and expressing this. Because we all know that Twitter is the best platform for civil debates, right? However, since the dust has settled and we watched the Demon Slayer movie, it rekindled my fire and love for this series. This new chapter that Gotōge has created to expand on Demon Slayer's ending is actually, say it with me, fire! Demon Slayer truly is a great series, and I genuinely think once Tanjiro vs Muzan is animated, all the flaws the community saw will disappear. Just like that. Especially since the author acknowledged and self-reflected upon these issues and said sorry. Which means the anime will definitely have changes in the final fight where these problems will cease to exist. Thank you, Gotōge. I love you. We genuinely think Demon Slayer was great and a fantastic journey. We will be covering it in depth when season 2 airs in November. So if you are interested and feel the same way, you must hit the notification bell for our channel so you don't miss out when we produce that content. Through this message, Gotōge addressed the concerns and gripes of the community with the way things ended. Gotōge felt that there was a lot of imperfections and careless errors. Having Gotōge acknowledge the flaws gave us a warm feeling of support. As I mentioned earlier, being honest about an opinion on the internet, it's quite difficult to say the least. It caused a surge of conflicting debates which then turned sour. We will always strive to be transparent with our audience, and in return we hope you guys will appreciate that, because we appreciate you watching our videos and supporting us. Sometimes it's hard being objective and rational when we are so emotionally invested. We didn't think the last fight with Muzan and how it ended did the series justice. And saying that hurts us as well. But again, I 100% think this is going to be fixed in the anime and Demon Slayer could become a masterpiece that I want it to be. It will be 10 out of 10. So let's begin explaining this extended finale of Demon Slayer. This chapter is an extension of chapter 204 and a prequel to 205. So a lot of these panels are repetitive from those chapters. We see Tanjiro, Nezuko and Zenitsu visit back to where the story started, at the mountains where their family graves are buried. Tanjiro prays to his siblings and parents, telling them how a lot of people helped them in their journey. They are all saddened by how much sacrifice was required to achieve their goal. A lot of people lost their lives to fulfill this wish of theirs to revert Nezuko back to a human and get rid of all the demons from the world, therefore fulfilling the prophecy of Yurichi that one day a generation will be born that can defeat Muzan through his teachings. They collectively decide that they will keep moving forward and survive alongside each other. Whilst they are praying, behind Tanjiro and Nezuko appear their parents and the siblings that they had lost. Their family souls appear and hear their prayers and accept it, moving forward to the afterlife in peace, knowing that their children are safe and happy but still looking over them. Remember, Tanjiro and Nezuko could feel their family's presence even when they were dead. Their spirits were helping the entire time. Their mother and father were inspiring them in their battles. For example, Tanjiro's father helped him to learn the fire breath style against Muzan, and then their mother telling Nezuko to wake up to save Tanjiro against the spider demon, as a few examples of this happening as an occurrence within the story. The spirits of the dead were a huge part of the series, even right from the start with the spirits of Sabito and Makomo helping Tanjiro train to break the boulder. Gotōge instilled this theme throughout the series. The demons after they died were also sent off peacefully by Tanjiro, showing the importance of a true soul, where one's humanity is always tested through existence and outside variables. But the soul should not waver and strive for good in this test we call life. So the Kamado family, along with Yoriichi being present during the battle against Muzan, was a clear foreshadowing. So only with those kindred spirits, Tanjiro pulled through and Nezuko broke her curse of being a demon to save Tanjiro from a tragic fate, ultimately changing the course of history forever. The theme of death is similar to a message that another manga, Jujutsu Kaisen, is currently exploring, where one should seek a good death and what it means to die, a concept that imbues the idea of samurai and the Bushido code that the Demon Slayer series is inspired from. If you are interested in Jujutsu Kaisen content and you're new to the channel, we have an entire playlist of videos linked in the pinned comment right now for you to binge. Go get your snacks, you can binge that shit. We cover it weekly, so I suggest for you to hit the notification bell. Going back to the chapter, their family welcomes both Tanjiro and Nezuko home, symbolizing that even if his family has crossed over, they are still watching over them. They both look at each other, pausing and tearing up, realizing that the nightmare has ended. The fight of demons and losing your friends has come to an end. We also see Inosuke on the side crying too, as everyone goes in for a big giant hug. Entering the Kamado house, they find out that the townspeople and Oji-san kept everything clean for Tanjiro and Nezuko to return. As the main crew is fixing up the house for all of them to live in, we see a montage of all the living Hashiras as Ubayashiki's son reads his father's will. We even see Rengoku's younger brother looking over at the horizon, Iguru is walking through the mountain, Gyu is looking over the cherry blossoms. We see the cast living their normal daily lives in peace. We see Tanjiro sweeping the floor with one arm. We can see his other arm is all shriveled up permanently from his fight with Muzan. They eat together and spend their lives doing normal activities in peace, symbolizing their victory of 1,000 years of battle. The ones who died can finally pass on, knowing that they made a change and their death wasn't in vain. Their spirits are no longer stuck, a throwback to the Buddhist and Shinto idea explored in Demon Slayer, where one spirit is lost and cannot move on until it achieves a certain goal, right? However, with this accomplishment, everyone is now free from the shackles of Muzan and the curse it created. Peace has been achieved. This goes back to Kaguya Ubuyashiki's will. He blew himself up into 1,000 pieces just so that this can happen. His will allows the living to understand their sacrifice and not to feel saddened by it. This is when we transition to the future generation and time skip, which embodies Ubuyashiki's will and Tanjiro saying that they have worked so hard for the next generation to live better, where one should smile and have hope. A boy who appeared to look very much like Tanjiro is dreaming. We know that the boy's name is Sumihiko. Sumihiko says that he loves sleeping and that he's been dreaming about his grandmother, that he doesn't want to wake up from his dream. In this dream, we learn the story of the demons who existed long ago and the people who fought them were passed down through the generations. Sumihiko still believes it is a reality and not a myth. It's a true story, showcasing that the past efforts for the future will never be forgotten. His grandmother goes on to tell them that their great-great-grandpa and great-great-grandma worked really hard to defeat those demons. The grandmother is talking about Tanjiro and Kanao. We know they loved each other and had children getting married. Sumihiko and Katana are living proof of that love. They each resemble their descendants, with Sumihiko taking after Tanjiro and Kanata taking after Kanao. Sumihiko says he really loved his grandmother's kind hand, and as you can see, it's shriveled up like a granny would, which in a way, if you think about it, may represent Tanjiro's weakened hand after battle, symbolizing that from weakness, kindness can be born, as weakness can be shown to be gentle. Sumihiko would ask his grandmother about the people who perished from the past, and she would tell him that they had been reborn. Once again, reiterating the message of reincarnation once the soul finds peace and accomplishes their goal. In chapter 205, we see these reincarnations of the cast living their lives happy without a worry, truly a happy life. We finish the flashback he has of the stories his grandmother would tell him. As he lays there sleeping, he thinks to himself that he hopes those demons aren't reborn as demons in the future, but that he hopes that God will forgive them one day and let them pass on and be reincarnated into a happy life. No, I truly do understand the message of Demon Slayer here. I understand for demons like Kokoshobo, Akaza, they can be eventually forgiven by God, and I'm not one to judge. But Muzan, that bitch is going to hell, fam, bruh. Do you know how much atrocities this guy caused? I know you're a baby in this.
Well, let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good lord.
Now, I do understand this is a callback. This kind nature is definitely from Tanjiro, as he once felt the same way before he took the demons' lives. Remember in the first exam when he saw the demon cry and then he felt their emotions and he was like, oh shit, they cried, I understand them. You get it, right? Tanjiro's descendant also wonders what his great-great-grandparents were like. He was jealous of those who really knew them. In the end, Sumihiko wishes to learn more about these people from the past, mentioning how their lives are like a storybook and that everyone is the protagonist of their own life. This poetic message was extremely profound to me, because not only did this boy explain the very mindset I stated in our previous videos, if you are sub to us, that we humans are the protagonists of our story, it imbues a positive, inspiring message that we should not take life for granted and the moments we share with those we love. These stories are the ones that are passed on to the next generation of your kin, and with these stories they could learn from it, adapt and become better than those before. Understanding that life is bittersweet and the destination you create from these stories is based on what you have learned and the actions you're willing to take through their sacrifice and understanding their feelings. Humanity can be defined by many things. Understanding one's emotions and putting yourselves in their shoes is definitely one of them. Here's a round of applause to Gotōge for having such a fantastic message. I definitely felt very emotional reading this chapter, with it recontextualizing everything that we read, and with me gaining more perspective after 2 years. My love and respect for Demon Slayer as well as Gotōge has increased. As I said before, the anime is going to fix the issues she already acknowledged, and this manga will be adapted into a freaking 10 out of 10. This part of the chapter in particular was definitely hard hitting, where we see a collage of moments with all the characters on how they lived their happy lives, and eventually they fall in love. Tanjiro fell in love with Kanao, Zenitsu won over Nezuko by fulfilling his promise, Inosuke got Kanzaki, and we see the final message of the Hashira and the other characters speaking to each other, where I feel like the author used this as a way of talking to the readers and fans as well. Please never forget to smile. When you cry, it makes me so sad I'm never able to bear it. Never feel guilty about anything you do. Just remembering that we were once alive is good enough. We fought together and we smiled together, like brothers and like parent and child. Please hold your head high. I was extremely lucky to have met you and it was a blessing. Your presence saved me and it helped me cast aside all my loneliness. When I think about you, I can feel a burning strength rise from the depths of my body. If it was possible, we wanted to live and stay by your side. That has been everyone's greatest wish, but we had to make a hard choice on whether we lived or we died, whether we won or we lost. Yet being able to choose is still a blessing on its own. Tough situations strike like avalanches. They swallow you whole instantaneously and you won't get a choice in anything. I just wanted to protect you. Your life was more precious than my own. Happiness never lasts for long. Still, I wanted you to see just how happy I truly was. Not once in my entire life have I considered myself unlucky or accursed. Never give up, never run away, keep believing. But this was the strength of everyone. I would never have won without the help of every single person around me. Living is a miracle in of itself, and you are an honorable person. You are important to me. Please live the best life you can possibly have. And then we have Tanjiro saying, I was extremely blessed to have been born, and then it states, my beloved comrades. Bruh, if you read this part of the chapter and you're saying you're human and you're a fan of Demon Slayer and you didn't cry, you didn't get emotional, bruh, I don't know what to say. This part, oh my gosh. Oh my god. This was so fucking good. Oh, bruh, imagine this anime. For example, taking a look at the chapter, Sumihiko goes on to narrate, because even if they're 100, 200, or even 1,000 years, these are only stories about people in the end. I'm sure that my family and even people I don't know all have their own little stories that only they know about. From there, we get a couple of pages listing extra information on the descendants of the cast. those that survived had many children. As the theme continues, we learn that because Muzan and the demons are dead, the spirits of the past can happily reincarnate. Gotōge gives a breakdown of all of this. We have Sumihiko and Kanata, who as we know are Tanjiro and Kanao's descendants. Toko and Yoshiteru are Nezuko and Zenitsu's descendants. We then see the descendant of Inosuke being Hashibira. Through the footnotes, we know he is friends with Sumihiko and has a younger brother. We also see Tomioka Gichi, Gyu's descendant, along with his two best friends who go to the same swimming school. The reincarnation we see is the other water-breathing users named Sabito and Mokomo. It's pretty funny since Gyu was the water pillar, and I'm guessing the author is trying to insinuate that these dudes would love water because of that affinity. And on top of that, Gyu was best friends with these two people in the past, but he lost them, and that was one of the cornerstones of his character, where he couldn't forgive himself and their spirits lingered on. Now once Muzan's curse is over, they all reincarnated together again and can live happily as best friends. Tojoro-kun is the descendant of Rengoku, who we saw is friends with Sumihiko, and they go to the same school. The Girls' Academy Beautiful Girls are the reincarnation of the Hashira sisters known as Shinobu and Kanae. These two were beautiful in the past, even their breathing styles highlighted that with their flower and insect style. Sanemi, the Wind Spirit's descendants, who are now like brothers after getting arrested for giving each other the huge scars you see on their faces. Genya looks like Kohei and was his brother in the past. The Snake and Love Pillar get reincarnated and apparently are a loving married couple that had 5 children. The Stone Pillar became a kindergarten teacher, which relates back to his backstory where he looked after children that were from broken homes and suffered by Muzan's demons taking away their loved ones. The Stone Pillar gave them hope, and he's doing that once again as a teacher. This was always his dream and what he enjoyed. We then see the descendant and reincarnation of even the most obscure of characters, from Murata, Kotetsu, Kanamori, Goto, Tekoichi, and some others. Ubayashiki Kiriya, the same boy from the Muzan fight, is still alive by the way, as the Ubayashiki family had the curse that they would die young due to Muzan, who was part of their family line years ago if you can remember, but he became a demon, breaking the natural course of life. Muzan was a curse to their family line which caused them to all die young, so I guess now they have vitality. Ubayashiki Kiriya is probably able to live up to 100 to 200 years because he is catching up to everyone that didn't get to live their full life due to the curse. At the very bottom left corner of the page, we see someone who looks like Yoriichi with his family. More than likely, Yoriichi reincarnated and was able to live a life with his wife and kids. If you guys can remember, his pregnant wife was killed by demons, pushing him to live his life as a demon hunter in the first place. So this is an amazing end to this story. The chapter ends with a heartfelt message to the dead from the living, as Tanjiro, Nezuko, and the others hold hands. Through this message, we see the final moments of their life. Anyway, this ending was great. As I said, we will be covering Demon Slayer more often when season 2 is airing. Binge watch our Jujutsu Kaisen content if you are interested. Make sure to smash the like button, hit the notification bell, follow us on social media, and I'll see you guys next time.